Good morning. Thank you so much for AAPC to give me this wonderful award. I was totally so surprised when Tracy texted me a few weeks ago, and it's a real privilege to be here. You know, I worked on my first campaign when I headed up second graders for Goldwater. And we had, fortunately back then, civics was infused in our entire lives in education. And I want you to know that Goldwater won in my second grade class. It was one of the few places in America. And I never looked back. Like Maria and everyone else, I went door to door for my local congressman. You know, my mom and dad opened doors for me that were extraordinary back, as I like to say, back in the day. I think as I look around, first I do want to thank the Grad School of Political Management at George Washington University. I hope Angela McMillan is here somewhere. But it's truly 4 of my students, former students, came to see me today. They are my friends and family. They've lived in my house. Let's see, 2 marriages I watched that unfold in my living room, of course, between Grad School of Political Management students. So just if you want a husband or a wife, let me tell you that grad school, that's one of the things we need to start talking about in marketing. But yes, that all helps. So we have Jim Green, Katie Barnett, Ben Eisenberg, and Gail Connors all came to see me today, and I am very grateful. I look around, and I think that I was always a risk taker. Now that during COVID I've taken too many do you have adult ADD quizzes? And I do. Nobody ever told me. I just knew how to get things done. And I look at Maria, and I don't know if she'll remember, but you know, you and I were the youngest women chiefs of staff on the Hill. And we were just in our early 30s. There were not women chiefs of staff on the Hill. My friend Margaret and I looked around when we were at the NRCC, and we saw that all the men who were field directors, chiefs of staffs, and had other leadership had run campaigns or run state parties. So after 5 years in DC, my friend Margaret went off to Beaumont, Texas. Yeah, that was an experience. And I moved to Nebraska to run the Nebraska Republican Party. And it was those decisions, risk-taking, going somewhere new, and making stuff happen. You know, when you do these projects, it's like your own lab. What works? What doesn't? What have I learned along the way? And so I think that's why I have such a passion for teaching and making it simple. You know, I've never been one of those, I'm from Washington and I'm here to help when I go to countries, whether it's Mongolia, Nigeria. I just want you to know that I've been to Russia 10 times. I lived there and taught a class on community activism. Now they can't do that. It is my biggest failure, so I just want you to know what's happening in Russia is I just couldn't make it happen. But I tried really, really hard. You know, we are a different breed of people in this room. We, again, know how to make stuff happen. We are resilient. We lose a lot, right? This is not a game where you're going to win 100% of the time. But we also know how to make decisions. And as you travel to other parts of your career in life, I made the decision to move home to Ohio to help take care of my mother. She was 94, had dementia, COVID hit, and she had fallen. And me being in Ohio, if I had not had the political skills that I had learned in 40 plus years in Washington, D.C., and during my time in Texas and Nebraska, my mother would have not had the care she got. My sister managed the money. My mother knew I'd run off to Europe and take it all, so she just decided my sister was more responsible. But when my mother had issues getting drugs she needed or any problem, that was my job. I fixed stuff. I want to leave you today and with great thanks, but I've been thinking a lot about, you know, legacies all my life of mentoring. And I want you to figure out how to turn transactional networking into trusted networks. If you're going to survive in this business, you need to have that network. It's amazing who I can call who may have met me 30 years ago, but I've never missed a birthday on Facebook. I acknowledge when critters pass away or parents, but I've always had that warm communication. And that can change lives because you know how to help communities when you finally go and make a home. And so please take your skills. We need help in our communities. Lions Club, Kiwanis, all these organizations are not what they used to be. We have the power to reinvent what communities look like. So thank you so much for this award, and thanks for my friends who are here.